What's up, class, and welcome to another episode of the No Mod Shop class here on the Skooled Zone. So, I discovered a really cool way you can decorate all your settlements with parts from the Signal Interceptor, not just the one settlement you choose for the quest. Now, it requires a specific order of operations, so to speak, but it's really cool the things you can do with the parts. I'll show you some examples in this video as well. You know, it's like having a bunch of new assets to build within your settlement, all done, of course, without mods. But before we get to all that, let's take a quick peek at this month's Wall of Fame. As you probably know by now, I feature the names of my amazing Patreon supporters each month on this here Wall of Fame. And here is the Student Council this month. Thank you guys so much for your generosity and support for the channel. I'll leave a link in the description below and the iCard above if anyone else wants to become a member of the Student Council. There are some fantastic perks in addition to seeing your name on the Wall of Fame. And if you don't want to leave YouTube and take the time to set up a Patreon account, there's also a join button down below where you can become a member, or a Bitcoin address down in the description if you want to make a one-time donation. It would be so awesome if we could reach the next Patreon goal before the end of the year. I'd love to go into 2022 with a next-gen console so I can bring you guys videos in 4K. Okay, let's get to it. So for those of you that follow my trivia walkthroughs of Fallout 4, you know that I actually haven't finished the game yet. I know, right? It takes a while for me to make those hour-long videos, and I want my experience to be fresh and organic for you guys. It sounds like an ad for a fruit basket or something. But anyway, in the last episode, I got the microchip from the Courser, and it was time to find a way into the Institute. So in the current episode that I'm working on, I got to the point where you can build the Signal Interceptor, and I paused my playthrough to see if I could build the parts at more than one settlement so I could have, backups for decoration. I heard from other viewers that the one you build to get in the Institute breaks and you can't repair it, only scrap it. And once you build the base platform, you're committed to that settlement and you can't build in any other settlement. And then, it completely disappears from your build menu after the quest. Now, determined to find a way around that, however, I reloaded a previous save and I experimented a little. Lo and behold, I found a way to make it work. Now, I know some of you may be grunting right now because you're way beyond that point in the game and you don't want to go back to a long past save and lose all your progress and the settlements you build in the meantime. However, this is still a great idea if you ever do another playthrough, which I've heard people do in the comments section, pretty often. Or if you're like me and you just got way into building and never got that far in the main quest. So here's the trick. Once you talk to the faction that will analyze your Courser chip and then go back to Virgil and all that, you'll return to get the blueprints for the reflector platform. I happen to side with the railroad, so they told me to build at the safe house, but you can build it anywhere really. So at this point, you'll want to decide which settlement you actually want to build the whole working, Signal Interceptor at. In my case, I chose Starlight Drive-In just because, it has a lot of open space. So you'll build the reflector platform and then you're told to return to your contact, in my case, Tinker Tom. When you return, he gives you the instructions for all the other parts, the relay dish, the control console, and the Big Daddy molecular emitter. So here's the order of operations to make this work. First of all, don't go back to the settlement where you built the reflector platform. Instead, go to any other settlements where you want to decorate with the new parts. Any and all of them if you want to. Now, you'll probably need to load up on building materials. I made a video about that if you need any reminders. Link in the description, the iCard above. But here's the important part. Don't build the reflector platform again. That part you can only build multiple copies of at your original settlement. But you can build multiple copies of the relay dish, the console control, and the beam emitter at any or all of your settlements. So this is where it shows up in the special section. Normally it's just occupied by the iBot pod and the robot workbench if you have Automatron DLC installed. So this is the part you don't want to build in any of your other settlements except for the original. Because once you build this and then you have the other parts also built, then it'll lock in this settlement as the one where you're going to teleport to the Institute, and then you can't build any of the other parts at any of the other settlements. So that's the unfortunate part. But you can still build the relay dish, the beam emitter, and the console control. And as you can see, I built a couple of copies here. And the great part about these parts is that none of them snap, which means they can all be rug glitched. Now, the console control does require a biometric scanner, so you'll need to fish around at different vendors to load up on those. And the beam emitter requires military circuit boards. But all the other materials can be purchased in bulk through shipments, even gold for the relay dish, which can be purchased in bulk from Deb at Bunker Hill. So once you build a second reflector platform, it locks in that new settlement as the place where you'll complete the whole project. And then you can't build any of the parts at any of the other settlements. So even though I have this stabilized reflector platform at my Starlight Drive-In as the place where I originally built it for the quest, if I was to build this here, then this would become the new place where the railroad people would come and help me get into the Institute. So that's the only part you can't build. But at my Starlight Drive-In, I can build multiple copies of this. So maybe, if you can think of something creative that you can do with this reflector platform, then you can just choose the settlement where you want to have multiple copies of this and then just build a bunch of them ahead of time. All right. I like the way that the little, diodes or whatever they are stick up like that. They look like mini Tesla coils. They may even be good for like a walkway where you can use them as stantons, I think is the word, to have ropes in between, which you can simulate with wires. Now, I do want to give one caveat, okay? I haven't tested this after completing the molecular level quest, because I want to do that for my walkthrough. So I don't know yet if this will make all the other parts disappear from all your other settlements. My instincts tell me it won't, but I could be wildly wrong and I'll have to delete this video out of embarrassment. But you guys can just let me know down in the comments whether this trick is safe and permanent and all that. My instinct tells me that if you don't have them stored, like I can go over here and I can store this relay dish and then it just pops back into my menu and then you'll see a 1 here and I can just place it back down again, okay? My instinct is that if this special menu disappears and all these parts here disappear, then any of them stored might disappear as well. So I'll have to test that out. You guys can let me know if you've done this before, or if you have to have them all out on your property in the settlement and not in storage for them to stick. Anyway, assuming this trick is permanent, I'm going to show you some quick examples of things that you can do with these parts to decorate your settlements, all right? First of all, once you hook this up to power, and I'll show you at another settlement where I did that, then it looks just like the one from the quest. You don't actually need this reflector platform to make it fire up all of its sparks. So one thing that would be kind of cool to do would be, to place, where is it here? Resources? No. Here we go. Yeah, this right here, the fast travel mat. You can actually, place this right here. You could even cover it up with something like, at your settlement where you build multiple copies of the reflector platform, you can build the reflector platform over this fast travel mat. And then for that particular settlement, you'll appear right under the beam emitter. And that way you can sort of role play that you've teleported into your settlement, You can place other things on top of it too. Like I placed a little flat light display in my UFO build. So it looked like you appeared on this little teleporter platform up in the UFO. I'll leave links for that if you haven't seen it yet down in the description. Okay, so we'll head to another settlement where I've got something cool going on. All right, so hang tight. Okay, so here we are at my Sunshine Tidings co-op, and I just thought I'd show you real quick what it looks like with the relay dish on top of a building, to simulate like a satellite TV or something like that. I can't think off the top of my head a lot of other uses for it, except for maybe like to simulate a weapon, some kind of sonic weapon maybe would be pretty cool. But mostly it can, sit on top of your buildings to look like a satellite dish. It's pretty cool. I love it right there. It looks perfect. Now, as far as the control console goes, a good use for it might be to cover up your workshop, because it does have a little red desk in there, which matches the color of the workshop and all these little red lights and all this stuff. And the great part is, like I said, this can be rug glitched. In fact, you don't even need a big rug. Let me show you real quick. So let me just get out one of these tiny rugs. And then we'll go back to the special section, and I'll get out another control console. Check it out. You can always tell when it's working for the rug glitch because it'll pop up just like that. All right, so now I can move this thing around and put it wherever I want. So I might put another one. I don't know. That is pretty cool, actually. Maybe I might put it there. See what happens. I bet it might look cool sunk in, you know? Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, I need another rug. So hang on one second. Yeah, that might look pretty cool. It might look like the computer is like built into it, you know? So let me move it back a little bit. And then if this sinks down like I think it should, then it might look pretty cool. Oh, it pops up. Oh, that's interesting. Well, actually, that is kind of cool still, though. I might leave it there for now. It's awesome. Oh, and check it out. So you can attach the wire. I'll just attach it right here. Yeah, that is pretty cool, actually. That's pretty awesome. And, you know, the best part about the control console is that it actually has an NPC animation to it. So your settlers will sometimes stop by and, like, tinker with it. You know, they'll, like, type some things on the keyboard or whatever. Your companions do it, too, when they're bored. So you'll see him doing that. This little guy over here, I just planted him right in front of it to look like he's sort of working on it. I borrowed him with the hack and follow technique from Diamond City. Okay, I'm going to rest until it's darker so I can show you this other little trick. And so hang tight. All right, so we have a nice night sky. And here is the molecular emitter. And the cool thing about this is that it can be Wi-Fi glitched and it can be sunk into the ground. So that's what I did. I hooked it up to my generator with the Wi-Fi glitch, and then I sunk it into the ground, and then I rug glitched a fountain into it. So it sort of, you know, makes it into, I don't know, maybe like a light sculpture or something. But it's pretty cool. I like it. Makes for a nice little display in this little ravine here. And I'm going to show you another example of something you can do it over at County Crossing. All right, so hang tight. All right, so I think dusk is the perfect time to show this off. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this little open field yet. I want to do something besides a farm because this is going to be one of my raider outposts. You've probably seen the video about how I created that tree house. And this is the main raider house here. So I'm thinking I'll probably create a battle arena in this area. That's been suggested to me a bunch of times. But anyway, I did the same thing here. I Wi-Fi glitched the beam emitter and I put a giant Nuka-Cola bottle in there to create another light art display. So check it out. I got my little Wi-Fi switch here. I'm going to switch it on and let's check it out. That is pretty cool. I probably didn't need to sink it into the ground too much. I probably could have gone a little higher, but that is pretty awesome. I like it. And the cool thing is I can actually move this anywhere else too, because not only is it rug glitchable, as is the giant Nuka-Cola bottle, but they can also be pillar glitched as a unit. So just group select them and move them somewhere else, and then you can sink them into the ground. Now, for the beam emitter, you will need to use a really tall object. I like to use the items from the scaffolding section. This framework, this tall framework piece right here. Unfortunately, this is the farthest that you can sink it into the ground. I haven't figured out a way. Unless you guys have a way, you can let me know in the comments to sink anything further than one set of pillar lengths or stair lengths, because once you sink it down and then you deselect it and you raise the pillar or the stairs back up again, and then you try to group select it again, it pops back up again. So that's why I like that tall object from the scaffolding, because you can sink it down pretty far. But anyway, so those are a few of my creative uses for it. Hope you enjoyed this cool new trick. Would love to hear any other creative ideas you guys might have for decorating with the Signal Interceptor parts down in the After School Club below. And if you want to post screenshots of your ideas, the Schooled Zone subreddit is actually the best place for that, since YouTube filters out links in the comments and all that. Link for that in the description below. Anyway, thanks again to the Student Council for your support on Patreon and with the join button down below. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button or the like button yet, that always helps as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy building, and class dismissed.